Hi again, everybody. Boyd here with you, and welcome back. Well, this is episode 11 of our Polar Lights 1/350 scale Enterprise refit build series here on the TrekWorks channel. And you can see we're making some really good progress now. Things are moving along really nice. We left off last one talking about we're going to start working on the Shuttle Bay here, and I'll show you guys what I've been doing and explain it here a little bit for you. You can see we're starting to come together pretty nice on it. I've got a lot of my detail installed and a lot of my paint work done. And I've got that nice stripe laid down on the floor. Now I wanted to talk to you guys about that a little bit. If you guys remember on my last refit that I built about a year ago, I made my own masks for that. Well, I want to say you can do that a lot easier now. My good friend Jerry at HDA Model Works has got these available on his website. I'll put that on the screen for you. He's got that mask all ready to go, and so you just lay it down on there. I'll explain basically how this works, guys. You start off with your bare plastic, which is white on this model, so you get a really easy ability to pass light through it. And I sprayed down some adhesion promoter first, and then I sprayed a light coat of yellow all over the center part of this, anywhere I knew where I was going to use the mask. Then I applied the mask down on there, and then I sprayed the dark gray color that we have here over top of that, so that acts as a light blocker on the rest of the floor section here. After that was all good and dry, I peeled up my mask, and you can see we exposed that yellow stripe there. We used the little decal from the kit supply decal that says stand clear in the middle, and I'll show you how this looks again, guys. This is a really nice effect. You can see that when we hold this up to the light here, that we get a beautiful backlit floor, which turns out really sweet. I really like that. And add some nice detail to the model. We'll have some LED strips that are located underneath of this in the model that'll light that up. But you can see we've been working in the rest of the detail here, putting the decals in and our railings and everything. It's pretty straightforward, guys. If you follow the paragraphics instructions, you just remove the parts from the sprue and then get them all cleaned up and deburred, and then apply your primer. I prefer to use some Tamiya metal primer for the brass parts, and then spray them the color that you want, and then just put them on. I used canopy glue to glue all these on so they hold nice and well. I found that canopy glue bonds these brass parts and holds them in place a lot better than CA glue does. CA glue tends to be really brittle, and it just they just literally can fall right off. But the canopy glue holds really nice. It takes a little bit longer to dry, but it works well. You can see there towards the front we've got our couple of crewmen in there. I've got Scotty in his engineering suit, and I've got Captain Will Decker there. They're back here surveying the Shuttle Bay, I guess. I might put a couple of more figures in here and tidy this up. I've glued this all together now, and I'm going to be going around the edges here along the bottom and the top. Once that's glued down, with some black light blocking material, probably just some Tester's enamel like I mentioned before that I like to use. Just lightly brush that on there, and that'll stop any light leaks from coming around the assembly seams. Here on the roof of the Shuttle Bay, you can see we painted this, and we've got a couple of SMDs here located on the top, right over the holes that go directly down into the turbo lift tubes here. You can see I've got those painted. And the same thing on the bottom side here, guys. I've got a couple of SMDs there. So the turbo lift tubes will be lit up, and it puts just the right amount of light in there. They're not like too bright or anything. They look really nice, and I'm really happy with that. So that makes some nice lighting in there. I'm going to mock this whole thing up here in a second and stick it inside the model and show you how it's looking lighted. Here you can see we have our Arboretum. And again, some more nice detail on there thanks to Jerry at HDA Model Works. You can see the nice decals that we have on the side walls that go over the photo etch parts, which I think is really nice. There's no way I could paint that on there that well. We've got a nice little view screen there in the middle. We've got our door area, and our, if you look closely at these, there's actually forced perspective hallways going all the way down on both sides here, which is really cool. And then we just, of course, got rid of the kind of Super Mario Brothers looking cone shaped things in there that were supposed to be trees, I guess, and cut those all out of there with a hobby knife and then smooth them out. And then I used some HO scale trees that I have. I just cut the limbs off of those, and then, you know, because they have to be pretty short. HO scale would obviously be way too big. But I cut those down, shortened them, glued those in place, and used some of our fake grass here. It's really easy to do, guys. I just, anywhere that I wanted grass, I just brushed on some canopy glue, and this grass is like a powder, just kind of a green powder, and I just sprinkled it on there and then tipped it upside down, and wherever I had glue, the stuff sticked, and wherever I didn't, it fell off. And then just kind of went around the edges and, you know, I cleaned it up a little bit with my hobby knife, and We did our water there and everything, and we added some rocks and things like that. Of course, I'm sure on the real ship there wouldn't be really real rocks in there, because if they ever had a problem, that'd be kind of scary. But they're fake rocks, and it gives a little bit of a park-like appearance, I think. Adds a little bit to it. So we're just about done with that. I'll probably put a couple of figures in there as well that you'll be able to see through the Arboretum windows. And things are looking really good here, guys. Now I want to talk about something that I mentioned on the last video that a couple of you asked about. Getting this shuttle bay in here, I was able to get it in by kind of, working it around and squeezing it and going back and forth, but I decided it's a whole lot easier to do it just by removing this brace peg that runs up here in the front. And I just cut that off and I saved it. When I get everything installed, I'll just epoxy that back on, and when I get ready to glue my top back down on here, so now I can literally take the shuttle bay. I'll have to install the Arboretum first, but once that's in there, I can literally take my shuttle bay and slide it in there and slide it all the way to the back just fine without any issues. That way I'll be able to work all my wiring and everything in there too and not have any worries. We've still got a lot of wiring to drop in here. We've got to connect our wires from everything that needs to go up through the pylons to the engines. We've got to connect this strobe here on the bottom, which is going to be connected all the way up through the neck to our control board inside the saucer. So there's quite a bit of wiring to do on this. But what I'm going to do right now, guys, is I'm going to set this all up and get the shuttle bay installed in there real quick for you, and get the Arboretum installed there so you guys can kind of get a look at how things are going to look when we're getting this thing closer to being put together. So I'll be right back with that, guys. Okay, everybody, well, I'm trying not to wobble too much here, but here's an up-close view of the shuttle bay, kind of mocked up here, and you can see I'm really pleased with the lighting in it this time. I did it different than my refit before. I used a little bit different combination of colors and different combination of lighting, and I really like how nice and clear this is looking. And of course we've got, as I mentioned, we've got a couple light leaks on it here and there around the ceiling and around the, you can see where the wall meets the floor there, a couple little tiny spots. But once I go around that with some of my light blocker, either some black enamel paint or some tulip or something like that, that'll take care of all those. But you can really see how nice those turbo lifts look back there lit up by themselves. I used some warm white in those so that they would look similar how they looked on the scene that they showed them working in the motion picture. And if you look really close up there against the wall there on that railing, you can see the two figures. I may put a couple more figures in this here and there to kind of liven it up a little bit. But I'm really happy with this, and it's turned out great. You can see we've got our nice little beacon here working on the bottom, and the one up on the top here. I'm going, as I mentioned, I'm going to put one more SMD in the back here underneath, facing the tractor beam emitters here. I guess that's what they are, these red guys up here. But our other, I think these are some kind of scanners or sensors I read on the instructions. Those are lighting up really nice. And again, mentioning again that this one here and the one on the fan tail on the bottom doesn't flash on the Enterprise refit in the motion picture. If you look closely during Star Trek II, they started flashing those. So, but we're doing the ship from the motion picture, so we're not having those flash. You can see here I've got my floodlights working really nice now. I removed that Elmer's glue that I used for masking in there, and it turned out just perfect, guys. That came out of there in one pop, and it didn't get any. I didn't get any paint on any of my LEDs or anything like that. It worked really great, and she's throwing some nice. You can see there how it's going to throw the floodlight effect up on top of the pylon, and of course here on the outside edge all the way up. And if I can pick this up really carefully, I'll get you a shot of the Arboretum here. And you can see how nice that's going to look, guys. We got all of our detail in there. And you can see that detail on the wall, which is really sweet. Those decals make a nice difference. I'll show you the other side here. Now we're glaring in there just a little bit because I don't have the... if you look at the model kit you guys are familiar with, there's some sky decals that go on this. It'll make it a little bit of a shade of blue, and it'll darken it down just a little bit. And I may diffuse that ceiling here just a little bit to get it not glare quite so much. But I wanted to have kind of nice looking bright light in there, like a park-like setting. And I'm really pleased with how this turned out. So that's looking good. And things are moving along really well, guys. So that's going to be a wrap for this one. I just wanted to take you through and get you caught up on some of the basics. And a lot of this stuff I've kind of already shown before. So just kind of, it's all this work we've done here is pretty straightforward, guys. I don't want to take you through the whole tedious thing. You guys have seen 100 Arboretums put together and 100 shuttle bays and things like that. But what we're going to do in the next video, guys, which will be part 12, we'll be back and we'll be doing some step-by-step construction on this when we get into the nitty-gritty of installing our pylons and running our wiring down through here and getting everything all tidied up, getting our front section glued on here. We're going to glue this bracing piece back in here. Once everything's all installed, all of our wiring is in place, and I do my last checks for light leaks and making sure all my lighting is working the way I want it to. And then we'll be mounting the neck on there and getting that all ready to go. So all of our wiring and everything will be passed through, ready to go into the saucer, and we'll start working on getting it mounted onto our display stand through our hollow tube. Once we get to that point, guys, things are going to really start going fast on this. Once you get the secondary hull on this model pretty much, finished up and sealed up with the pylons on it, and the seam work done here, and these things start moving along really fast on this. The rest of the assembly will be pretty quick, and then we're going to be going on to the major part of this model, guys, which is going to be the really intricate Aztec interference paintwork we're going to be doing on this, the iridescent colors. So that's going to be really fun, and we're going to really take our time with that and show you that whole process step by step. So I hope you guys will enjoy it. All right, that's a wrap for this one, everybody. I'm having a great time working on this model. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for the response you guys have had to our channel sponsors here. They really appreciate your business, as so do I. Again, mentioning they're a great group of people that have really been helping out the modeling community, and I'm really pleased to have them associated with the channel here. And just wanted to mention that we're still doing the commission building here on the channel. We're about 4 or 5 months out on our builds here, guys, but if you're not in too big of a hurry, you can contact me and we can talk about getting you a couple more models built. I've got one coming in here from a customer very soon that you guys will find interesting that I'll show you here in just a little while. So we'll save that all up for later on, guys. So take care out there, have fun with your models, and like always, happy modeling, everyone.